Hey everybody, and welcome back to Cross the Grooves. So, with Google Translate's help, I have, think we've deciphered this, and I'm going to really butcher the pronunciation. So here, let me try to remember exactly how Google Translate pronounced it. It was something like, Katavasis, and supposedly means descent, or something like that. So, going down. The prayer room is situated on the ground floor, and it's a long rectangular room with a checkerboard marble floor. The room doesn't look as if it's been renovated in the last 20 years, which would lead one to suppose that Ernst Lorenz had in fact bought a former Masonic temple at the moment the Iron Curtain fell, probably aiming to cover up to the true allegiance of the Ion Kairos Lodge, or rather its lack of allegiance. The assembly must number around 30 people gathered into two groups on either side of the room, leaving a central aisle free. After a few minutes of silence, mingled with some whispering around the room, Eva makes her entrance. She walks with a measured step to the other side of the room, mounts the platform there, and addresses the assembly in a strong, clear voice. My very honored brothers and sisters, I must thank you for coming so numerous and for some so far in such a short time. I would not have convoked you to this exceptional council if I did not have excellent news. Since the death of our sovereign protector, Ernst Lorenz, we have moved heaven and earth to find it. Today, it gives me great joy to tell you that the Koros has finally been returned to us. After our long crossing of the desert, the Ion Kairos Lodge will finally be reborn. All of you here, the most loyal, you who have kept faith in the Brotherhood, in the teachings of my father, in my government, as the second sovereign protector. All of you will be rewarded when your time comes by the knowledge of the Koros. She holds out a hand towards us. For this first ceremony in 13 years, we have two beneficiaries, our brother Jakob, who joined the lodge a little over 10 years ago, and our brother Alexander, who represents the new blood of our organization. Both have been instrumental in the recuperation of the Koros, and the Grand Council has decided to reward them for their devotion to our cause. They will thus be the first to be liberated from the false world and to rise above the chaos of the multiple emanations of the physical reality. Jakob stands up, approaches Eva, genuflects, then goes to sit on the throne. Eva places the record on the turntable, while Jakob removes his cape and puts the headphones over his ears. Brother Jakob, are you ready to no longer be the slave of the false creator, to take yourself from the emanations of the false world and to receive the light of knowledge? Yes, Sovereign Protector. Eva switches on the turntable. The room fills with sparkling reflections. Then, when the needle of the turntable reaches the central groove, everything returns to normal. Jakob takes the headphones from his ears. There is something subtly different about him. Perhaps his stubble is a little less closely shaved, or maybe it's his hair, which is slightly less peppered with gray. Or maybe it's something in his posture. The assembly applauds as he rises and goes to sit on the left of the stage with the two people who wear the purple capes. The ritual repeats itself for my other neighbor, Alexander. Once again, the strange shimmering in the air, which stops when the record ends. It's Alexander's turn to go sit on the left, next to the initiates. Then Eva speaks again. As is the custom, I will take my turn to hear the Koros. As sovereign protector of the Ion Kairos Lodge, my role is to perpetuate our community and to make it grow. That is why I am going to make myself place the lodge in the most propitious available emanation, as the great masters present here will testify on my return. Okay, so you're going to go back in time and somehow make the lodge even greater, is that what you're saying? Eva sits, puts the headphones on, and starts the record. For the third time, the air begins to vibrate with glittering particles. This time the room also seems to change. Heavy velvet drapes appear on the walls. The furniture becomes more opulent. When the record ends, the assembly applaud, and the room, which was half empty, is now full, suddenly holding a multitude of new caped initiates. Saying that word completely wrong. For the first time, I am fully conscious of the danger the record represents, put in the wrong hands. If Eva is as ambitious as Arthur Pullman believes, the Aeon Kairos Lodge could quickly concentrate so much wealth and influence that she would become uncontrollable. Yeah, she's changed her hair. She lays the headphones on the table, and I notice that her hair has grown, intensifying her air of great pagan priestess. Before closing this council, I would like one last person to hear the chorus. We have among us this evening the previous guardian of the record, who lost someone dear to her heart in a previous emanation. The Board of Masters and myself, Sovereign Protector of the Ion Kairos Lodge, have decided, in our benevolence and as a gesture of peace and harmony, to authorize this person to control the emanations one last time. In return, she has promised to no longer meddle in the affairs of our brotherhood, and to keep to herself, sub rosa, the mysteries that she has observed. Eva gestures me to approach. Alice, if you would take your place. I sit on the throne, place the headphones over my ears. Then I start the record. Guitar note pierces the air. Almost feedback. The eyes of the assembly are fixed on me. Sparkling reflections emerge. I look at Eva one last time. She stares back, impassive. The light twists and knots. I turn my gaze inward, searching for Ulysse.
In spring we met, in the fall we came, and I am for the middle of the road, the summer of love, sunset over the roof, ties shimmering like mirages, the golden hour, the right time, the time to put the wrinkle clean, the time to bring you back from the mist of oblivion. New emanation, I put the headphones down as you enter the room, sent to my moon.
Alice? Ulysse comes into the room as the record I'm listening to ends. I remember this moment. What I hadn't noticed the first time I lived this moment was the record that he has under his arm. 7-inch with a white sleeve. He has the record. I thought you were going out this evening. He walks over to me, bends down to my height, and plants a kiss on my lips. His hands tremble slightly. He seems shaken. Enjoy the moment or get to the point? Look, I want to enjoy the moment, but I don't know how long this is going to last. So, I need you to not die, Ulysse. Ulysse, I don't have much time, and I have a lot to tell you. Ulysse backs off and looks at me, concerned. What do you mean? What is it, Alice? I point at the record, which she has laid on the coffee table. Have you listened to it? Yes, I just bought it. It was part of a batch of psychedelic, a big collector, by the bay. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had. But, how do you know about the record? It's an acetate, probably unique. Ulysse, what I'm going to tell you is going to be hard to believe, but I'm going to ask you to trust me. Ulysse nods and replies without hesitation. Of course, Alice, tell me. Be completely frank, say as little as possible. No. I need to tell you. I'm going to be frank with you. I've come from the future, Ulysse. The record allows you to change your past when you listen to it. In this future, you're dead because of this record. Alice, you're scaring me. I'm very serious. My time here in this moment is limited. It's vital that I listen to the record before I get sent back to the present, to avoid that the future I come from happens again. I'm going to ask you to promise me just one thing. When I've finished listening to the record, you take it and you disappear. I don't want him to disappear. I disappear? Leave Bordeaux. Don't try to learn more about the record. Just keep it in a safe place, please. So this is what happens, right? So in our past, he disappeared and we didn't know why. He just left. But he disappeared because we had went back in time and told him to disappear. But we didn't remember that because that hadn't happened for us yet. The weird paradox. It's the only way, Ulyss. I'm sorry. With a bit of luck, I'll still have the memory of the future after I listen to the record, in which case I'll tell you everything. But if I don't, I'm going to ask you to trust me. I take the record from the coffee table and put it in place on the turntable. I pick up the headphones, and before putting them over my ears, I glance at Ulyss one last time. Give him a sign of affection, say something to reassure him. No. Give him a sign of affection. I lay down the headphones, go over to Ulyss, and take him in my arms, tight. Find me in 4 years. If I haven't been able to tell you everything before that, I'll explain everything then. So he's been gone for 3 years, so we got 1 more year to wait. He returns my embrace before kissing me passionately. I sit by the record player and prepare to put on the headphones. Alice, wait, please. I pause. You know you have all my love and trust, but do you realize what you're asking of me? A sigh escapes me. Ulyss, I'd like to have the time to tell you more, to tell you everything, but my consciousness could leave this moment in our past at any minute, and if I haven't listened to that record before that, it could be catastrophe. Ulyss watches me with bewilderment as I finish putting on the headphones. Unless it's sadness, or simply affection, I hesitate for an instant as I pick up the tone arm before I remind myself that I have no choice. I don't have the right to hesitate, nor to change my mind. I don't want to let Eva have the record. I want to make it as likely as possible that Ulyss will still be alive in my new present, even if it's at the expense of my reality, of my identity. I take a deep breath, then, with renewed determination, I place the needle in the groove. The music hits me and engulfs me like a wave of sound. The living room of our little apartment gleams as though filled with sunlight, or underwater sunlight. The air vibrates with the sonic surf, which submerges my consciousness. I am carried away on the tide as the last rays of sunset vanish beyond the Bordeaux rooftops.
Moon diva was the sun, a sonic wave engulfs me. As I drown in the mist of oblivion, I sacrifice my whole self on the altar of your survival.
Like, what is this? It's the tone arm. The needle.
My soul's torn in pieces until nothing remains. My whole self is lost. I am laid bare before the creation. The wave crashes on the shore of this alien world, a new emanation, and as the sun retreats, I see what I've become. I sleep into a liking glow. The old Alice is lost nowhere.
Alright, who are we? I take the 2 steaming cups of coffee that John passes me over the counter, put down my change and payment, and thank him with a shy smile as usual. So we're a brunette now, I see. I saunter back up the road towards Yard Sale Records. Yard Sale Records? That was the place in London, right? With Alan? Is that right? Maybe not. The first rays of the spring morning sun gently warm my skin. It's pleasant after all those days of drizzle, fog, or downpours. 6 months. 6 months have passed since Prague. Life has carried on. At least another life. In this reality, I work for Yard Sale Records. I live in a little apartment in Camden, 15 minutes walk from the shop. Life in London is great, with a rich and varied music scene. I've become friends with Beth and Garrett. We often go to see concerts together, and the job itself is pretty good. I make a living listening to music, talking about music, and telling the customers about the records that rock my world. I find it far more satisfying than studying loan files. When I reach the store, Garrett has just opened up. I put his coffee on the counter. Oh, thanks, Alice. You're welcome. Simon insisted on going to a club after the concert last night. This caffeine's going to be a lifesaver. I suppose Alan's not up yet? Garrett laughs. Alan, get up before 11 on a day when he's not doing the opening? Yeah, he's definitely a night owl. As am I, personally. I suppose he spent another night doing the orders and the books? Oh, hey, actually, the postman passed earlier. There's some post for you. Oh, really? It's odd that it came here, not to my place. Garrett shrugs. If it's the record. I put everything upstairs on Alan's desk, as usual. Okay, I'll go take a look. I'm kind of curious. I climb the stairs up to the first floor. Today's mail sits in the middle of Alan's desk. I go over to it. At the top of the pile, a postcard. Ancient ruins overlooking a turquoise sea, caption, Mykonos. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Greek island. I turn it over and instantly recognize Ulysses' disjointed handwriting. Alice. We said we'd see each other in 4 years, do you remember? I'm in Mykonos. Can you meet me there? Ulysses. Beneath the signature, there's a telephone number. My heart pounds. After such a long time, I'd given up on the record. On Ulysses, on all of it. Really? You had? Because it's just been 6 months since you snuck into a house and you tried to take on an entire cult to get him back. And in 6 months, you've just given up? What's wrong with you, Alice? What's waiting for me there? How will I react when I finally see him after all these years? I've got no idea. I suppose I've got nothing left to do but pack my bags. Direction, Grace. Epilogue. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. But I feel like it's probably a good time to end this episode here, because I don't want to extend it longer. I don't know how long the epilogue lasts. So the next video could be 5 minutes long. But I don't know if it's a good idea to continue on from here and get like stuck halfway in the middle and have to end. So let's go ahead and end it early. Let's end it here. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you again next time.